Erin, and I'm part of South Central India House Church, shepherded by Chris and Janet. I was voluntold by my beautiful class to share, so this is my Experiencing God testimony. When David first asked us to share why we were taking the class, I said that I signed up for Experiencing God because I wanted a booster shot. I was burning out and not really understanding why, and up until the second week of class, I was actually thinking about dropping the class because I felt like I wasn't in the right place spiritually to take it. But I was quickly reminded that feeling that way meant I was exactly in the right place to take the class, because that meant that I needed God to keep me close. I originally thought the whole class was going to just be about obedience, so I was surprised when it started by talking about having a love relationship with God. I've learned a lot during this class, but an especially big thing that I've learned is that God is so intentional in having a love relationship with us. When I was still kind of new to my house church, I remember Janet, I love you, Janet, talking about how God is working all around us, whether or not we realize it. And all we have to do is just step into the work that he is already doing, like stepping into a river. I've thought about that a lot during this class. It feels pretty scary to look into the river and not know how deep it is or where exactly it's going. But this class has helped me to really believe that when I step into the water, that God will be there too. An example that came up for me a lot while learning about how God works was actually my move from New York City back to Houston. It was a very sudden move for me, as I had about 2 months to find an apartment and a car and say goodbye and move all my things back to Texas. I wrestled a lot with the decision, and at the end of it, all I really had to go off of was looking at this city that I'd lived in for so long and hearing God tell me it's time to go. It was very scary and sad, and I don't think I ever fully processed it. And when I left New York, my mom told me that it wasn't that I was coming back to this field on my own, but that God was bringing me to it. But I don't think I really understood what she meant until I started taking this class. This past year in Houston, I've definitely asked myself if I was wrong or if I had misunderstood God. But I think this example kept coming up for me during the class because God wanted to show me that if I'm deep in my love relationship with him, then the Holy Spirit that is inside me guides me to pray and act according to his will. And the Spirit ties me to God, and the Spirit that is inside me never misunderstands God. So that gives me a lot of hope and peace about why I'm back in this city and also about my own relationship with God. I'm pretty bad at making decisions, and I always wrestle with the question, did I do the right thing? But through this class, I'm learning that really the only decision I need to make is whether or not to believe that God is who he says he is and that he will do what he says he is going to do. So I really believe that I'm in Houston for a reason. I believe that I'm putting down roots and that he is completing what he initiated in me all those years ago when I was here as a college student. I never really asked God about the work he was doing around me because I wasn't being intentional with my life. I didn't like feeling attached to a particular relationship, home, or season in my life, but God is very consistent and intentional, and I would be foolish to stand in his way. One of my favorite things about the class was learning about all the different names of God in the Bible, and when we shared during class, David would sometimes ask us what name of God we thought that he wanted us to learn through that experience. And it made me realize that God has a name for every one of my experiences, thoughts, and emotions, and I will never stop learning about God or seeing a new side of him because he is eternal. And with each new experience or hardship, God reveals something new about himself that maybe I wouldn't have seen otherwise. So I'm so thankful for my class. I'm so blessed by your honesty and your vulnerability. We ate really well, and I'm especially thankful for the girls, for Christine and Claire, just for being so sweet, and I think reminding me of the importance of just being so sweet towards God. And I'm really thankful for David for reminding me of what it's like to have a childlike faith and wonder in God. So I would like to end by sharing a name of God that is so precious to me. And it's actually a name for the Holy Spirit, which is a deposit or seal. And it comes from 2 Corinthians, which says, "He anointed us, set his seal of ownership on us, and put his spirit in our hearts as a deposit, guaranteeing what is to come." So when it comes to my relationship and experiences with God, I know that no one or nothing can take them away because the Spirit is in my heart as a deposit. And I hope that he will also seal in my heart all the things that I learned in this class. Thank you.